Hey everyone, you're watching VGM Presents Comics with Mark, and I am your host, Mark Rodriguez. And yes, we finally have the fourth and final issue of The Death of Wolverine, the story that officially kills off the seemingly unkillable Wolverine. And yes, we got number 3 here, and of course number 4, and so they did cover number 1 and 2. I didn't want to skip number 3 and go straight to number 4, but we were distracted by the mysterious female Thor that we still don't know anything about. So yes, today we're going to do like a bit of a longer episode. I'm going to read out number 3 and 4, like one long story, till the bitter end, and, giving my thoughts, opinions, and all that stuff. And when we're done with this, I'll give my thoughts on the overall, like these two stories, but also the overall 4-part epic of The Death of Wolverine in general. And just for you guys, in case you guys, want to get a recap of what's going on. Apparently Wolverine lost his healing factor due to an alien virus, so now he can get shot and stabbed and cut and all that stuff, and he'll heal basically as slow as any one of us would, with bandages, getting stitched up and all that stuff. And he can't even use his claws anymore, because whatever he does, he risks bleeding out, because usually, that heals up pretty quickly when he does that. And he found out that Viper has been sending out everyone that's ever been after Wolverine, or anyone that's ever wanted just to collect a lot of money, on some kind of big bounty after him. So Wolverine takes a fight straight to Viper, and she runs into, he finds out that she has like Sabretooth under her control. They fight it out. Deathstrike shows up. She helps a little bit, but once Deathstrike finds out that Wolverine is vulnerable, she wants to kill him too. And then this issue ends with Kitty Pryde showing up to help. So showing that Kitty Pryde is also, Wolverine's side, helping him out and everything. But one of the most noticeable things is that, again, you have to keep in mind that any damage Wolverine takes, this damage is going to stay. And Sabretooth basically raked his eye very badly. So now we got a Wolverine that's blind of one eye, basically. And we still got 2 more stories to go where I assume he's going to get more and more injured. And, of course, we're going to reach, the bitter end. So, yeah, let's get down to it. Like I said, we're going to talk about Death of Wolverine, number 3 and number 4. Let's see how it ends, guys. Let's see how this ends. Issue 3 starts off right where the second one ended, with Kitty Pryde having her arm phased right through Lady Deathstrike before she could kill Logan. You remember me, don't you, Deathstrike? I do, Kitty Pryde. So you know what my powers can do. If I unphase this arm, no more Yuriko. You are no killer, Kitty Pryde. Deathstrike tries to attack her, and when she tries to swing her claws at her, Kitty Pryde bases her hand through her wrist and then unbases her hand so that Deathstrike's hand basically just falls off. You don't know who I am. Now go, or I will kill you. For a minute there, Kitty. I thought you were gonna... And Logan passes out. Okay, so Kitty Pryde pulls out something from her pocket, some kind of injectable serum, right into Wolverine's neck, and his eye regrows and everything, so much for him being blind of one eye throughout the rest of the issue. How? I thought I was done. Regen serum. It's not as good as your healing factor, but it'll patch you up a little bit. How did you get it? And how the hell did you find me in the first place? You sounded terrible when I called you from Canada, Logan. I couldn't just let you march off to get yourself killed. And you always come to Madripoor when you get all reflective. You got it backwards. I don't want to die. There's a contract out on me. A big one. Trying to stop it. Viper was part of it. Ogun, too, sounds like. Don't know if he's the one behind all this, but Ogun doesn't work cheap. He's got to be near the top of the food chain. Great. So let's go find us an evil ninja ghost. So yes, that decides it. Kitty's going to be joining Wolverine for the rest of this story, or I guess for this issue at least. And yes, I do not know anything about Lord Ogun. I don't know about Kitty Pryde's personal history with Lord Ogun. And if you guys know, of course, feel free to educate me down in the comment section below. So, what do you know? Not much. Someone's paying to bring me in alive. A lot. Enough that every assassin and merc thug of the planet's after me. Took them out, one after the other, but they wouldn't stop coming. So I figured if it was ever going to stop, I'd have to stop it. Viper brokered a contract for some client. Guys doing all sorts of stuff, she said. Kidnapping people, stealing stuff from museums. Doesn't make sense. Yet. Right. And Deathstrike said Ogun's in the mix too. He's hunting us. She wanted me to help her take him down. For half a minute, anyway. I'm surprised it even took her that long to try to kill you. I wonder if it'll ever stop. Just one fight after another, tearing me apart in slow motion. You won't always be here with some magic potion either, Kitty, or McCoy, or Reed, or Tony. One day, I'll be too slow, and then done. Sometimes I wonder if it might be better to find some place where I can watch the sunset, and then just... schnitt. Don't ever say that, Logan. Don't worry, Kitty. I got plans. I lost my healing factor, sure, but there's a good side of that. It means I can get old. Why would you want that? because no more chances. No more doing something horrible and telling myself I got to the end of dawn time to make up for it. No, just one lifetime where every choice matters. Just one chance, and I'm going to use it. I'll get through this. Then I'm going to disappear. Just live. Maybe someplace like this. Quiet, beautiful. What? And then Kitty Pryde does what all the typical young women do to Wolverine, ignoring the fact that he's old enough to be alive during the World War II era and kiss him anyway. Kitty, no, we've never been like that. I love you, Logan. I always have. Am I not good enough for you? Not pretty enough? Not as good as Jean or Rose or Mariko or the others? All those women, Logan? All those dead women? Olga, how'd you get her? Miss Pryde was very worried about you, Logan, son. She came to Japan to look for you. She did not find you, but I found her, and I took her. My soul rests well inside her. It always did. Let her go! What do you offer instead? Yourself? You will come quietly by release the Shadow Cat? You're a great prize, Logan, son. You are what it is all about. It is why I healed you. No deal. Just let her go. I will not. Wolverine gets drawn into some place and he finds out samurai armor and swords and stuff. And of course, since now Wolverine does need to protect himself, he armors up and brings in the fight, samurai style. Right in Japan, I guess. So the fight doesn't go as easy as Ogun thinks because Kitty Pryde is still trying to fight over control. And apparently in the dialogue it mentions that Ogun once trained Wolverine but also trained Kitty. So of course eventually she loses control of the fight and Ogun leaves Kitty. Kid, you okay? It's Ogun. He jumped away. He must have found someone close by. Go after him, Logan. Get him! You sure? Yes. Don't worry about me. Just go. But listen, I heard a name while he was in my head. I know who's doing all of this. Who's after you? Deathstrike. The whole thing. Abraham Cornelius. Does that mean anything to you? Too much old bones. I'll be back. Just go, Logan. Ogun's found a new body by now. If we don't catch him soon, he's gone. So Wolverine chases some random Asian guy, because I guess, Ogun took control of him. Leads him to this weird abandoned place, and there's this guy here just lying in acid, killing him off. A guy named Cyber, and I don't know who it is, but Wolverine does recognize him. Bastard deserved this and more, I'd say. But tell me, why? Right now, or I'll take that mask right off and drop it in here. That's what you deserve. Tell me about Cornelius. Miss Pryde was poking around where she did not belong, it seems. Cornelius has become something of a collector. Cyber skin, certain swords, a statue of the Hulk. He is paying enormous sums for these items. It is, as they say, a seller's market. And Deathstrike, and me, all that stuff. He wants adamantium. That's why he put a contract on me. He wants my skeleton. No, or at least not right away. He has killed hundreds and will kill thousands more, but not you. The instructions were very clear. You were to be brought to him alive. Brought where? His facility in the American desert, in Nevada, in the Great Emptiness, a place called Paradise Valley, and that is all I know. I do not know why, or what, or how, but I do have a question for you, Logan-san. I could escape you. Just step right into the acid. My mask would be lost, but I have others. This vessel would die, but I could find another. Don't do it, Ogun. That guy doesn't have anything to do with this. Don't. In truth, I would prefer not to. My spirit is weak. The fight with Miss Pryde took an enormous toll. And so my question. Will you just leave this place? If you do, I pledge on my honor that I will abandon this vessel unharmed and find another, one more suited to my needs, one who welcomes my presence. I will no longer hunt you, but I also swear that if you do not go, I will kill this man. He has nothing to me. These are yours. If you will only go, keep them. I am done living forever. But tell Cornelius something for me. Make sure he knows I'm coming. On to number 4, the final issue and the official death of Wolverine. Okay, so issue 4 starts out with Wolverine driving across the Nevada desert in a Jeep, and now he's wearing his own weird handmade versions of his own claws, so he could of course use them without bleeding out whenever he uses his actual claws. And he goes to a base and gets past all the guards and everything, and goes inside and sees these scientists working on some weird Wolverine clone. Ogun said you'd be coming. I appreciate that very much. It saves me an enormous amount of money. What are you doing, Cornelius? What are you doing? I'm getting it right, Logan. I've taken everything I've learned in my life, all of my failures, and I'm getting it right. I deserve to be known for something other than helping to make a killer unkillable. Who are they? They are my great hope. My latest great hope. The best I can find. You wouldn't believe how difficult it has been to find suitable subjects. Athletes, military personnel, my agents have bought me fodder from all over the world. How many have you? As many as I need, Logan. As many as I have to. Hundreds. It's been years. Not enough because I haven't solved it yet. It doesn't matter. In a decade, the number of people who care that they will ever live will be in the single digits. When I made you, you didn't make me. I gave you your adamantium skeleton, made your claws unbreakable. I kept up with what you've been doing, Mr. Logan. You think you've ever become a superhero without me? Brightly colored costumes, all that pageantry. You don't belong in bright colors. They do. My children, my pretty deadly children. So Cornelius has been trying to recreate the whole Weapon X thing he did with Wolverine, but of course since one of the major things that made Wolverine survive this was the healing factor, and something these other people don't have, which is why he created this serum that helps them regenerate enough to survive it, but they still die anyway. So now he wants Wolverine to help him perfect the formula with his own healing factor. To show off that Wolverine can't help, Wolverine cuts his hand on purpose, puts it up against the glass, and just lets it keep bleeding, so the bad guy can realize that, well, Wolverine can't heal anymore like he used to. So now the scientist wants Wolverine dead. And now we got big dude in a weird suit. Got no quarrel with you, pal. Doesn't matter. Nothing really does anymore. This is Major Sharp, Logan. He's a searcher. He was looking for something, so he came to me. He's my proof of concept. My financial bankers love him. Every tactical enhancement I could think of in his head, he's always fighting. So as Wolverine fights against this weird guy in a suit, Wolverine loses his weird handmade claws and everything and starts getting beat up as the scientist rambles about how Wolverine was a mistake and how he wants to improve upon him, and these people are being operated on while they're still awake and alive because these bad guys are sick. So this bad guy accidentally smashes through the glass while trying to hit Wolverine, and while the guy is apologizing to the scientist, Wolverine manages to knock him out. Wolverine demands that this guy turn off all his weird hellish machines now. So everything goes red alert, all the machines are going off, the alarms, caution, caution, So Wolverine whips out his claws one last time, he starts slicing the adamantium machines, all the adamantium just falls right on him, and keep in mind this is boiling hot. And Wolverine manages to get the regenerative serums, but gives it to all the poor people that have been operated on while alive, so they could regenerate their wounds and everything. Meanwhile, Cornelius is trying to escape on his helicopter, but he's also not in good shape as he thought he was. Go, go, we can't wait! I'll spin it up. But you, what the hell happened, Doctor? You're bleeding. So I am. Easy, Doc. What the hell? Go, just go now! Wolverine is now, God, he looks like Bio Brawly. And yeah, Wolverine is now a big mass of melted, swolted, adamantium as he walks like a zombie towards the scientist. At least I tried to make something. I tried to change the world. But what did you ever do but kill people? What did you ever do? What did you ever? And that's the end of him. So Wolverine has a little flashback here. Wolverine in his classic X-Men outfit. Wolverine just hanging out in the bar, kissing, I guess that's Jean Grey, being in the army, being a teacher, because of course he had his own class for a while. And remembering everything, Wolverine starts walking towards the edge of the building there, and he says, enough. And, wow. So, Wolverine gets in a dramatic pose, like kneeling, as the adamantium, I assume, hardens and everything. And that's it. Wolverine's dead. Wow, so what a way for Wolverine to die, basically. It was a weird story how it ended that way. So Wolverine goes to this facility where the guy that created adamantium was experimenting on all these people, and he slashes up the place, and the adamantium just falls all over him, and I guess before it has time to harden, he kills the doctor one last time, and while the doctor asks, what have you done? What have you done with yourself and everything? You see all these flashbacks, and he's like, I've done enough, and that's it. He kneels down, and I assume that the adamantium will just solidify. He's either already dead from all the molten metal, or he'll just suffocate anyway. But wow, so that's Wolverine's death. That's the way he died. That's that's something I've never ever expected. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I assume he would just be hacked up or slashed up or impaled, shot. I don't know, something. But being basically adamantium statue as it solidifies, that's a weird way for him to go. And well, honestly, I don't know. I also find it kind of weird because I don't know. It's kind of open ended, so to speak. It's kind of open ended. They've introduced the concept of this weird regenerative drug. I assume Shield or Hydra or someone else can make more of it. I mean, what's to stop them from well, I guess if they inject the stuff in him, he could come back. But the only bad thing is that he's completely covered in adamantium, so I don't know how they're gonna cut through the adamantium to get to him. But yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know how they're gonna, because he's gonna come back. I just don't know how they're gonna do it unless they find some way to cut through the adamantium. And I don't know. That's a weird. I have no idea. I got no ideas here. This is so weird. It's a weird way to end the story. But yeah. So the story's pretty interesting overall. I mean, it brings back familiar faces, the people that Wolverine's faced throughout his life. You got Kitty Pryde there. Of course, Sabretooth just had to be there for a while. Viper was involved. Lady Deathstrike was in it. I guess they couldn't bring in the other people like Omega Red and them. They're probably too I guess, hardcore for it. But yeah, you can see all these people. You can see that Wolverine has talked with Reed Richards trying to find a way around this and whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. So I guess it was a good story overall. It was a good and good thing. Wolverine has had several other stories. It was the Months to Live story, as he kind of had to deal with the fact that now he can die. And we see him doing all these things like fighting with his claws now. He fights with these handcrafted claws, so he still has some of it, but not his actual. And all of this. So in a way, like my opinions, it's very weird to put in my opinions. I mean, it is a good story. But it's just weird that it ended that way. And I guess, I don't know, it kind of goes back to the beginning, sort of, because it goes back to the original guy that invented adamantium and everything. And I guess, I don't know, I guess people, like, if he's going to die somehow. And that's another thing about Wolverine, too. He didn't exactly die in battle. He didn't die because because Sabretooth killed him, because Deathstrike or Deadpool or any of his other enemies killed him. He died like a selfless sacrifice to save these poor people that are getting sliced up while they were still awake, mind you, and save them and everything. And of course, finally killed this sick bastard, so he cannot continue with these experiments anymore. That's pretty fucked up too, what he was doing. And yeah, and then of course, like I said, we got a little flashback of his life and memories. He said that he's done enough. But wow, that is... I got no words. I really got no words. I honestly thought, well, I mean, I knew Wolverine was going to die in some kind of noble, some kind of like, let's save the world one last time or something, but I just didn't see it that way. I wonder what people thought of that idea. That big pin-up thing we saw in the beginning where he's just laying there looking in regret. I thought that was basically him dying. Some movies start at the end of the story and you kind of work your way through until you get to that same part again. I thought the story was going to somehow end up with him being back to that scene and him just dying, bleeding out or whatever in that position, but I guess not. But yeah, that's wow. So yeah, I could just go on and on. I just didn't expect him to die in that particular way. And honestly, it's a pretty cool way to die. If it was some character some character that we're kind of ready to let go, so to speak. Some character that's a cool, heroic character, it's a heroic sacrifice, and we're happy to know that the story's over now and he can relax, like an anime series that's reached its last episode. But something like Wolverine, it's like, dude, it's Wolverine. They can't kill him forever. That's a weird way to finish him off. And it's also a very weird way as to, I don't know what excuse or what loophole or whatever Marvel's going to do to somehow undo this to bring him back. Because, in the future, they're going to make that X-Men Apocalypse movie next year or so, or next year or whatever. I assume they're going to bring him back around that time to raise awareness. But, wow. So that's all I can say, guys. That's the Death of Wolverine. Part 3 and 4, and of course you can check out the other videos for part 1 and part 2. And yeah, I'm kind of left at a loss for words here. This is I did not expect him to die that way. That surprised me. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's it for now. I don't want to drag this on any longer. And this is already long episode. I got another 2 comic books that I want to introduce to you, but we'll see that in the next issue, next episode of this. So yes, VGM presents Comics with Mark. This is Mark Rodriguez. See you on the comic book store.